Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to look at Wave 4 of the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game. Now it's important to note that these ships are not out yet, so everything that you see here is subject to change. This makes this video more of a preview slash first impressions video. What I did was I went on the Fantasy Flight website and browsed about 5 or 6 different news articles, and I went ahead and copy and pasted anything that I thought that was new over into this PowerPoint presentation for your viewing pleasure. So with that said, let's take a very brief look at Wave 4. You've got the E-Wing, the Z95 Headhunter, the TIE Defender, and the TIE Phantom. So the Z95 Headhunter obviously looks like that. It looks like an X-Wing only with 2 wings instead of 4. And here's the maneuver dial here. Only one red maneuver, as you can see, it's just a 3K turn. The rest is either white or green, so that's pretty cool. Further in, it's just a quick picture of what that has to offer. Nothing really helpful there, but nice to look at. As far as the pilots go, the ones I was able to find, Aaron Kraken, pilot skill of 8, and the stats across the board for the Z95 are 2-2-2-2. So fairly weak in terms of everything, but they have a low cost. As you can see, the pilot skill of 8 here has a cost of 19. And Aaron Kraken, after you perform an attack, you may choose another friendly ship at range 1. That ship may perform 1 free action. Not too bad. Focus, target lock, elite symbol, concussion missiles, it looks like. Now, Aaron Kraken, I believe, I'm reading the X-Wing series, and I think Aaron Kraken was the son to General Kraken, but don't quote me on all that. That's all lore and stuff. Lieutenant Blout, pilot skill 6. When attacking, the defender is hit by your attack, even if he does not suffer any damage. So what that means, and I was reading the news article from the Fantasy Flight website, that would be good for like the ion pulse effects or assault missiles, or for any ship using a stealth device. So even if the target does not suffer any damage with an assault missile, for example, the effect would still be 1 damage to any surrounding ship. I think it's at range 1. So that's pretty interesting. It's a cost of 17. Further, we have the Tala Squadron pilot, no special ability, cost of 13, and the Bandit Squadron pilot, skill of 2, that has a cost of 12. Some upgrade cards that came with this that I was able to find. Munitions failsafe, it's a modification. When attacking with a secondary weapon that instructs you to discard it to perform the attack, do not discard it unless the attack hits. So, like a proton torpedoes, for example, or concussion missiles, if you don't hit with that secondary weapon, then you don't have to discard it. That's pretty cool, I like that. Wingman, at the start of the combat phase, remove 1 stress token from another friendly ship at range 1. That has a cost of 2. Ion pulse missiles. Attack, target lock, there's 3 dice associated with this. Discard this card to perform this attack, range 2 to 3. If this attack hits, the defender suffers 1 damage and receives 2 ion tokens, then cancel all dice results. So it's sort of like an ion cannon or ion shot. The ion cannon turret, for example, does 1 damage, but also adds 1 ion token to the target. So this ion pulse missile does the same thing, only it adds 2 ion tokens. That's pretty cool. That has a cost of 3. Next up, we have the TIE Defender. I flew one of these in my TIE Fighter game from back in the day. It was like the X-Wing game for the PC, but only you could fly Imperial craft. And it was a lot better game and more solid, I think. More depth to the story. But the TIE Defender, anyway, as you can see, a lot of maneuverability here. It has the ability to make 1 hard turns, even though they're stressful maneuvers. That's still pretty impressive. And it can even go straight at 5. 4K turn, it's a white maneuver. That's the first time I've ever seen that. So that's pretty interesting. Vinny was pointing at it. That's how I knew to look for it. Let's see. This is just a quick picture. Now, I also included the skills down here. The TIE Fighter has the focused barrel roll and evade. The TIE Defender has the focused target lock and barrel roll. So in effect, it's giving up the evade to add a target lock to its action bar. Further in, it's just another quick picture for you. It's kind of hard to see, and I apologize. PowerPoint, for whatever reason, would not cooperate with me when I was running Frap, so I have to run it in this windowed mode, so it's a little bit smaller and harder to make out. But here you can see there's this one guy, pilot skill of 8, and I'm going to do my best to read this off. It's a 3-3-3-3. Rexler Brath, I don't know who that is. After you perform an attack that deals at least 1 damage card to the defender, you may spend a focus token to flip those cards face up. So turning hits into critical hits. Pretty powerful. Focus, target lock, barrel roll, cost of 37. So these cards by nature are pretty expensive, but that stands to reason considering their relative strength and their stats. And now I see Ion Cannon, Ion Pulse here. That's something I already went over. Predator and Engine Upgrade. It's actually on the next slide, I think. Actually, is that it? Predator and Engine Upgrade. I'll get to the Engine Upgrade. I think that's standard. The Engine Upgrade, I think, was in the Millennium Falcon upgrade, so I won't touch on that. Predator's further in, so I'll skip that. One of the pilots here, Colonel Vessery, TIE Defender, pilot skill 6. When attacking immediately after you roll attack dice, you may acquire a target lock on the defender if it already has a red target lock token. That has a cost of 35. Delta Squadron pilot, pilot skill 1, and even at a 1, the cost is still 30. So again, these ships are pretty expensive to field. Powerful, but expensive. Further in, we've got a few upgrade cards that I was able to find. Predator. When attacking, you may re-roll 1 attack die. If the defender's pilot skill value is 2 or lower, you may instead re-roll up to 2 attack dice. That has a cost of 3. That is very powerful. There are a lot of pilots, skilled pilots, that have this sort of ability in various ways or various terms. But having an upgrade card that you can attach to any pilot with an elite upgrade on the bottom, that's pretty good. I have a feeling I'll be using this card a lot. Outmaneuver, another powerful one. When attacking a ship inside your firing arc, if you are not inside that ship's firing arc, reduce its agility value by 1 to a minimum of 0. So it's sort of like the Wedge Antilles ability, only you have to be not within their firing arc and behind them, or it's just, this is a good card to use or to have if you're going to be behind your target or to the side of your target, so that you're not within their firing zone. It may not be as good against, say, the Millennium Falcon, who has a 360 firing arc. So that has an upgrade cost of 3. Next up, we have the E-Wing, and there was no maneuver dial included in the news article, so I apologize there. From what I gather, though, the E-Wing, from lore anyway, was supposed to replace the X-Wing, but it was relatively expensive, and I think only R7 astromech droids can be used with it, and didn't support the R2 or the R5 units until later. And there were some issues with the laser cannons and all this other jazz, and again, they were expensive to make. But they were supposed to have the maneuverability somewhat of an A-Wing, and were supposed to replace the X-Wing, but they never did, as far as I know. Again, I'm not too keen on the lore behind it. Here's a quick snapshot of the E-Wing and some of the cards. Further in, we have Karan Horn. He was one of the biggest protagonists in the X-Wing series that I'm reading. Pilot skill 8, and their stats 3-3-2-3. So it's sort of like the TIE Defender, only 1 less hull strength. At the start of the end phase, you may perform 1 attack. You cannot attack during the next round. So you can give up an attack now to sacrifice 1, or you can take an attack now to sacrifice 1 for next round. Not too bad. A lot of actions, though. Focus, target lock, barrel roll, evade. So very maneuverable that way. That has an upgrade cost of 35. Etan Abat, I probably butchered that. That has a pilot skill 5. When an enemy ship inside your firing arc at range 1 to 3 is defending, the attacker may change one of its hit results to a critical result. So again, same slew of upgrades here, cost of 32. Nabe Squadron Pilot, cost of 1. Same array of actions here, and the lowest pilot skill, that costs 27. So like the TIE Defender, these are pretty expensive to field, but as you can see, the stats sort of make it worth it. The upgrade cards associated with this expansion, the R7T1. As an action, choose an enemy ship at range 1 to 2. If you are inside that ship's firing arc, you may acquire a target lock on that ship. Then you may perform a free boost action. That's pretty interesting. Cost of 3. The R7 Astromech. Once per round when defending, if you have a target lock on the attacker, you may spend the target lock to choose any or all attack dice. The attacker must re-roll the chosen dice. That's pretty cool too. Upgrade cost of 2. Sensor Jammer. When defending, you may change one of the attacker's hit results to a focus result. The attacker cannot re-roll the die with the change result. I think the Sensor Jammer was part of another expansion, but I included it here just in case I was wrong. Further, we have the Outmaneuver card again. I just went over that above. Flechette torpedoes, attack, target lock, cost, or it has a 3 attack, 2 to 3 range. Discard this card and spend your target lock to perform this attack. After you perform this attack, the defender receives 1 stress token if its hull value is 4 or lower. So that's pretty interesting. Predator. When attacking, you may re-roll 1 attack die. If the defender's pilot skill value is 2 or lower, you may instead re-roll up to 2 attack dice. I believe the Predator was also mentioned above, so you are already familiar with that one. Further down, what do we have? Okay, the TIE Phantom is the last one. As you can see, fairly maneuverable. It can make 1 hard turns, but not 1 straight, and can make a 3 or 4K turn. Here's a quick snapshot of that. The biggest thing, though, with this, it introduces a new action, the cloak action. And just to sum this up, when a ship performs the cloak action, place 1 cloak token near that ship. A ship cannot perform the cloak action when it already has a cloak token. So it can spend its action to cloak. The agility value of a ship with a cloak token is increased by 2, sort of like with Star Trek Attack Wing. While the ship has a cloak token, it cannot perform attacks. Cloak tokens are not removed during the end phase, again, sort of like Star Trek Attack Wing. Now this is where things get interesting. When it decloaks, a ship may spend a cloak token to decloak immediately before revealing its maneuver dial. When a ship decloaks, it must choose one of the following effects. Perform a barrel roll using 2 straight ahead. Perform a barrel roll using the 2 maneuver template instead of the 1. Or execute a 2 straight maneuver. Decloaking is not an action or a maneuver, and a ship cannot decloak while it has a stress token. So, it's giving up an attack from the previous turn to give itself extra maneuverability for it to decloak possibly on the next turn. Again, it's not this whole perform a barrel roll using the 2 maneuver template or executing a 2 straight maneuver does not count as a maneuver. So that is on top of whatever you picked during the first phase of that round. So that's pretty cool. A ship cannot decloak if it would overlap another ship or an obstacle token, or if the maneuver template would overlap an obstacle token. After decloaking, the ship continues its activation phase as normal. Cloaking would really work with a high pilot skill, I think. Even though you're forced to pick your maneuver before you reveal your maneuver dial, obviously. If everyone else has taken their turn, you have the ability to decloak when you reveal yours, and because high pilot skills reveal theirs last, you have some leeway as to whether or not doing a decloak action would be a good thing. So that's something I'm going to be playing with probably. The pilots, Whisper, TIE Phantom, pilot skill 7, 4 attack. That is incredibly powerful. The rest are 2s. This is the only card I've seen so far that has an attack of 4. Anything above 3. After you perform an attack that hits, you may assign 1 focus token to your ship. Again, a large array of actions. Focus, barrel roll, evade, cloak. That has an upgrade cost of 32. Not upgrade cost, but has a fleet cost of 32. Echo, another pilot that has a pilot skill of 6. When you decloak, you must use the slight left or slight right 2 template instead of the 2 straight template. Again, same actions, cost of 30. The Sigma Squadron pilot skill 3, 4222, no special ability, upgrade cost or fleet cost of 25. And finally, the last slide, some upgrade cards for you. Advanced Cloaking Device, TIE Phantom only modification. After you perform an attack, you may perform a free cloak action. So, again, that is going to be pretty big, I think. This whole cloak mechanic is definitely going to change the way players treat X-Wing as a whole. And finally, what the heck is that? Stygium Particle Accelerator? I think that's how you pronounce it. Modification. When you either decloak or perform a cloak action, you may perform a free evade action. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this little slideshow. You can check out my review of the core game at www.dadsgamingaddiction.com, or you can simply click on the links in the below description. That'll take you there as well. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.